Hello internet friends, welcome to the Legion Alpha Beta first look summary first pass for the Holy Paladin. Now, I did Protection and Holy Paladin today. Both specs, I would say, went under some pretty significant changes, I think, to the overall gameplay core, but a lot of them, at least from my outside looking in, looks pretty great overall. Lots of different synergies and thoughts with talent selections, and again, this is not with artifacts right now because I don't do that till second pass. So if you want to see the full VOD of that, where we go into tons of talk about the mastery, which I will of course go over a little bit here, but we talk about like an hour, go check out the VOD. The link is in the description box right here, of course on my channel at twitch.tv/FinalBossTV. My bugs and things that are not working properly, or things that are a little wonky, wishy-washy, or something like that, are also linked down below as well. And if you want to watch them live, of course, I have a lot more testing to do in the future. But the Holy Paladin has a couple of passives now. Infusion of Light is still here. Your Holy Shock criticals reduce the cast time of your next Holy Light by 1.5 seconds, or increase the healing of your next Flash of Light by 50%. Still good. Also, as the same thing with Protection Paladin, before I go any further, no Holy Power. Only Retribution has Holy Power. So no Holy Power for the Prop Pally, no Holy Power for the Holy Pally. So it's like a weird gum up the system works nonsense that's gone. Heart of the Crusaders here at 20% mounted speed. Divine Intervention is kind of interesting, and people were kind of like, what is this doing here again? It's any attack that would kill you instead reduces you to 20% health, for maximum health, and triggers Divine Shield. So this has to be a killing blow, will make you instantly bubble. And some people were mad. They were like, well, I want to bubble when I want to bubble. But this is like, if you were to die anyway and whoopsie-doodle or something like that, it just bubbles you. So it has to be when you would die, 20% heal plus bubble. So you can still use bubble offensively, defensively when you want to, but it's kind of weird this is caked in. It's very thematic, I feel, but the PvPers were kind of wondering about how this is going to work because you kind of want to like use your bubble differently. But this is, in PvE, I don't know if it's going to make a huge deal. I mean, if you actually stand in the poopy and you get crushed, then all of a sudden you're not dead, right? 5-minute cooldown, of course, on this, and it does not work if you have Forbearance on yourself, so be careful. The new mastery is Lightbringer. Lightbringer. Proximity to your target causes your spells to heal for more. Right now I have 50% mastery. 49.6, right? Proximity to your target causes your heals to heal for more. Now, it is very easily lineared from the target to 40 yards maximum. At 40 yards away from your target, you deal 0% of your mastery and healing. At 8 yards or on the target, there's I call it the Circle of Forgiveness. 8 yards from your target is maximum mastery benefit. Unless you take a certain talent. So by default, that means that if you're in the ranged group, you'll heal the ranged group for your maximum amount, or pretty close to it. And then if you have a beacon target, you know, your tank's beaconed, you're healing your ranged group, the mastery heal that is fully affected by being nearby you will be complete, but then of course your beacon, your baseline beacon, is a 40% reduction in the heal transfer, right? Beacon also has the 30% refund on mana costs for your Flash of Light and Holy Light on the actual Beacon target. I have Beacon of Faith currently talented here right now just to show that Beacon of Faith is still here, of course, but the other two talent tiers, we'll get into in a little bit, are actually really compelling to make you not want double bacon, which is like, whoa, 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 bae, what did you just say? No double bacon. I know, right? They actually gave you some pretty cool ideas for talents down there. But it's interesting, so I'll show us off real quick with just a Flash of Light here. So it's right here about is full. No, it's a little closer than that. So right here, maybe? So 28.5 is where my mastery has my maximum heal for Flash of Light. And if I start walking backwards, it's going to start slowly diminish. 28.2, 27.7, right, 26.206, 26.5. So then if you are 40 yards away from this dummy, 40 yards on the nose, your Flash of Light will heal for 19,094. Or 19,093, sorry. One number off. But Max range is 0% mastery, and then within the 8-yard, again, circle of forgiveness, you get your full benefit on the target. However, you always get the full benefit of the target on yourself because you're the paladin, right? You're always going to get the maximum heal on yourself. So if you've got your beacons up, I'll put a beacon here and a beacon here. Wait on the cooldown, go to the beacon here. Obviously, when you heal yourself, you'll all heal for the maximum amount, so your beacons will both share the 40% reduction based on your maximum heal to yourself, because you healed yourself for the maximum amount, because you have full mastery bonus. Right? Pretty cool. You'll notice right here as well, I'll cut away to your DPS abilities, which I put on a different bar down here. You have Judgment now, Holy Shock, of course, on the offensively. You have Crusader Strike, you have Denounce, and you have Consecrate. Because all healers have to be able to do some damage in Legion, because you have to be leveling up your artifact weapon. Which, as I segue into the artifact weapon, I had to get this figured out like 17 times apparently. But the artifact weapon you get in the future, the Silver Hand, is a two-hander, and your offhand is cosmetic, but it does have stats, which is the offhand Librum, which is the tome of the Silver Hand. It's a stat stick, but you don't have a shield anymore in Legion. I'm not sure if you can actually transmog to a shield, or you just don't have a shield. I think thematically that's very fine. Holy Paladins since Arthas and Warcraft 3 have only had a two-hander and a Librum, so you have a two-hander and a Librum now. But the Librum still has stats on it, but it'll be a one-item piece. Like, your Silver Hand will be just one icon in your inventory, and when you equip it, you'll just have the offhand will show up, right? And it'll be a cosmetic thing. It's like on your waist, I think. So that's a thing. That's how it'll be. Right now, I have obviously a one-hander and a shield, but that's gone in Legion because the Silver Hand is a two-hander that you wield with one hand, normally, I guess, ish. So your DPS for like Crusader Strike will actually be a little higher because you'll be Crusader Striking with a two-hander, not a one-handed like I'm doing right now. Which your DPS rotation is sort of just straightforward. Judgment does have the window where your Crusader Strike and Holy Shock do more damage for 6 seconds during the first 6 seconds of the debuff, right? Holy Shock does the same damage or healing to an ally or to an enemy, and of course double the normal critical strike chance. And Denounce has the 4-second debuff where it prevents them from having critical effects. So no critical spells, no critical attacks on, or critical heals technically. So that's for PvP, but for questing it's still kind of a thing. The mobs can't crit you. And what else is there? There's Consecration. Consecrate is a 9-second cooldown, a little bit of haste on my gear right now. So 9-second cooldown and 9-second duration. Right, the duration and the cooldown are always synced up, but yeah, that's the Consecrate down the ground. Denounce, same animation. Holy Shock, same animation. Crusader Strike looks different with the two-hander, of course. It'll look more like this, I would assume. There it is. And that will be how you Crusader Strike with your Silver Hand. You have Blessing of Sacrifice, Blessing of Protection, and Blessing of Freedom baseline. You have Divine Protection baseline. The other specs don't have that. And of course, you still have Bubble, which breaks the screen a little bit right now because of some particle effect. It just tears the screen apart. It looks kind of cool if the whole screen did that, but right now it's kind of broken. And then, of course, you have Little Bubble. All healers have a AoE heal built in baseline. So you have Absolution is your AoE res, sorry. And then, of course, you still have a Redemption, which is a single target res, of course, of 2. Avenging Wrath is a 2-minute cooldown, 50% healing done, and you gain 20% critical strike chance and damage for 20 seconds. Also, like an animated sound. There's like a sound behind it now. It's kind of cool that you have like a sound effect behind your little ability there. But Holy Light and everything just does more healing and more chance to crit, you know, doing that. And then of course you can get the faster Holy Light cast from Infusion of Light. So that's there. And for the baseline stuff, I think that's pretty much it. Blinding Light's a talent, which I'll go over soon. Holy Prism's a talent, of course. Hammer of Justice is a 1-minute cooldown for a 6-second stun. Your other major ability now is Light of the Martyr. It costs a little bit of mana, a little bit more than a Holy Light, so pretty mana efficient. 40-yard range where you sacrifice health, which is based on your spell power, to heal an ally for the same amount. I was told it was 450% of your spell power. You take the damage. It does not work with Beacon of Light. You're seeing the other target right there not getting beacon healed. It does not work with Beacon of Light. It does not work with Beacon of Light, and you cannot use it to heal yourself because you're sacrificing your own HP. It'd be kind of redundant. And yes, if you're wondering, hey, Bay, your HP's getting low there, it will kill you. 100% will kill you. Now, the flip side of that is that abilities and things that will cause you to take less damage, which right now I actually have Devotion Aura talented, which does reduce the damage I do take from my my own Light of the Martyr. You can bubble, super bubble, Divine Shield, and take 0 damage and heal it forever during the bubble. You can also pop Divine Protection, and again with Devotion Aura right now at 15% DR plus the DR from the 20% Fear for Divine Protection, you will take less damage, of course, again too. But that is a huge new ability that's an instant cast spell. I don't think people were talking about in chat that it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to spam it all day, all night. But I think it's really like a on-the-move, oh crap, kind of weaved-in spell. You're not going to spam it all day. I can't see it being that effective because it has no other synergies. It's instant, low mana cost effectively, and it hurts you to deal the same amount of healing to someone else, but does not beacon. It can crit. It doesn't have anything with Holy Shock or Infusion of Light or anything like that. So it's kind of an oh crap button. I think. It may be gameable in some way, but for what it looks like right now, it's not very gameable. But Light on Hands is still here, of course. Max HP. Light of the Dawn is still here. 10-second cooldown. 15-yard frontal cone in front of you, as the frontal cone does, for AoE healing. So I'm going to run through a couple of these. Holy Bolt is pretty simple. Damage and healing increase for Holy Shock by 30%. Light's Hammer becomes a talent way up here. 1 minute cooldown, where you can chuck that Light's Hammer in there, get in there. Whoop, boop. The healing of it is kind of weird, because it's not based on your location exactly, but it also, like, is. So the healing pulses, I don't know, it's awkward, because I don't know if it's based on the hammer's location or your location. It's a little strange. I don't know. I didn't test all that today. Crusader's Might is successful Crusader strikes grants you Crusader's Might, which increases the effect of your Lightbringer by 12%. That is a flat, additive 12% to your mastery. Just right on top. Shield of Vengeance is a bubble, where you will bubble yourself with a powered shield, basically, for 15 seconds, and when the barrier is consumed, all damage absorbed is dealt back to your current melee target as holy damage. Unbreakable Spirit is very much still here, just the cooldown on Divine Shield, Divine Protection, and Lay on Hands by 50%. It's a really good talent, really. And then Beacon of Hope, which I'll go back to this when this is off cooldown, because Beacon of Hope is basically a Holy Paladin's demonic gate. That's correct. Fist of Justice is 10 seconds off your cooldown for Hammer. Repentance is the out-of-combat, in-combat CC, that if the target stays CC'd for up to the full minute, they will take up to 25% of their target's maximum health and damage over 1 minute. And then Blinding Light is an AoE Disorient that does not break upon taking holy damage, so you can actually have down Consecrate, and you can actually Holy Shock them and judge them, and they won't get out of Disorient, so it's kind of helpful for a CC tool that you can still DPS them through if it's holy damage, not physical or anything else, of course. You have auras here. Devotion Aura is very simple. It's just within 10 yards of you, everyone takes 15% reduced damage, split over the number of allies in the area. So if you're the only one, it's 15%. You see I walked over there, there's 2, being the dummy, it's 7.5. If I walk over here, there's 3 of us, it's 5 each. It's very kind of not strong normally, but this brings me to Aura Mastery now. Aura Mastery is a 3-minute cooldown that empowers the radius of your current aura to 40 yards for 6 seconds. And for Devotion Aura, the damage reduction is no longer split over the number of allies in the aura. So if you pop Aura Mastery Devotion, that means it's a 40-yard, 15% DR to all damage incoming. As it kind of is now. So I think it's 20% on live. So it's a little bit nerfed, but that's how all this stuff is going to be in Legion. Aura of Mercy just turns you into a Healing Spring Totem, where you just pulse for healing every 1 second to up to 3 injured allies within 10 yards, and during Aura Mastery, there's no target limit. So during Aura Mastery, you'll heal everyone in your raid within 40 yards, once per second for 6 seconds. By default, it does have some Mastery synergy with it too, which is kind of hard to show. It works better, of course, with like the actual, like if a ranged group around you was a thing, but you heal for that amount. So I don't think it's really going to matter until you pop Aura Mastery and they're really far away from you. But the Aura Mastery version doesn't really do anything right now. It doesn't really work. Then there's Oro Sacrifice, which I have to make sure I back up before I do this, or I will die. When an ally within 10 yards takes damage, 10% of the damage is redirected to you while you are above 50% health. And during Aura Mastery, 20% of all healing on you is replicated to all allies within the aura of 40 yards. And it meteors. This is so mathy and awkward that I don't really know how to explain it. The passive is fine. You'll never go below 50% health for taking 10% damage off someone else's attack coming into you, and you can just be a heal bot for, like, Atonement Priest or a whole bunch of hots on you. And then you can Aura Mastery for basically becoming a human healing tied totem. Like, load you up with hots or something like that, and then you'll pulse for all the healing around you for 6 seconds, but it meteors, so it's not that strong. I don't know, it's awkward, and it's mathy, and better healers than me will figure this out because it's super strange. Divine Purpose is boring. Light of Dawn and Holy Shock have a 20% chance to not start their cooldown. Sanctified Wrath is the same. It lasts for 50% longer, so 10 more seconds on Avenging Wrath. And then your Holy Shock cooldown is reduced by 50%, and you get another 20% increased chance to crit. So how this works, though, is Avenging Wrath gives your crit chance up by 20, right? You get 20% more crit chance. Then this doubles for your Holy Shock, and then it adds 20. So it doesn't add the 20 and then the 20 and then double it. No, it goes from base plus your 20 from the spell, then doubles that, would be 60, and then Sanctified Wrath gives it 20% on top, like icing on a cake, for 80% currently. Holy Prism is still here doing the exact same thing it does on live. Judgment of the Light is when you judge light on an enemy, they get 40 stacks of basically reverse leech. They get healed when they attack the target. Daybreak is 3 seconds off Light of Dawn, which is your AoE heal. So it goes from a 10-second cooldown to a 7-second cooldown. Stoicism reduces the damage you take from Light of the Martyr by 30%. So your Light of the Martyr self-healing hurts you less. Of course, that will stack with Devotion Aura and Divine Protection. And of course, you can bubble and spam Light of the Martyr all day and take no damage, but Stoicism just reduces that by a little bit if you're using that a lot during an encounter. I'll show Beacon of Hope real quick. I'm kind of running out of time right now because all these classes have so much changes. You cast this ability 40 yards around you. 40 yards? 40 yards. 3 seconds later, you will teleport to it. Or, if you take damage during the 3-second window, you will automatically teleport. So yes, you can Light of the Martyr to immediately teleport yourself. It's kind of weird, but it's also kind of cool, because the Holy Paladin's kind of like in and out of melee or ranged, and they have to like move quickly. It's kind of weird. Hopefully they change it to be a little more thematic. You don't just like pop and appear there, but... So Beacon the Lightbringer increases your Lightbringer mastery by a flat 24%, and now your proximity, your healing increase based on the target's proximity to either you or your Beacon of Light, whichever is closer. So that means that if you are nearby the Beacon of Light target or the Beacon of Light target, you gain the full benefit of your mastery. Same thing if you actually heal yourself, of course. 33,152 and 33,152 over here. So not only are you the beacon and have an 8-yard circle around you for forgiveness, but so does the dummy in this case, or your tank that has the Beacon of Light. So you can be enranged and heal the tank for full, heal the melee around the tank for your full benefit, or heal around you for your full benefit if you're within 8 yards. It's really good. And Beacon of the Savior means that you basically have Atonement, Crusader Strike, Judgment, Holy Shock, Denounce, and auto attacks also heal your Beacon of Light target by a large chunk of your spell power. This means that if you do DPS, or are doing DPS, you will heal your beaconed target, as you are seeing right in the background there. So it's kind of cool. It's a super big leveling talent, because if you beacon yourself, you'll just never die, because all your things will heal yourself over and over again, which is, you know, you can couple that with, like, you know, Sanctified Wrath, or like Holy Prism, or Light's Hammer, or Judgment of the Light here, and just never die while questing. But that's the full extent of the Holy Paladin. If you want to see more, please check out my channel guide. Like this video if you enjoyed these previews. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more of these in the future. And happy healing in the future here. There's a lot of stuff. Again, Beacon of the Savior and Beacon of Lightbringer have a lot going on for them, for the Holy Paladin, to counter the double bacon of Beacon of Faith. So We'll have to see how it works out in the future. But I will see you all in the next spec, first pass, or second pass, or third pass summary.